Okay, right, here we are. There we go. Now you can see me. Welcome to today's live stream, and thank you for joining today's live stream. Today we're going to be looking at a variety of things. We have our usual questions and answers to questions, so thank you. Please post your questions in the chat and I'll bring those up and we'll see what sort of questions that we have. But welcome to episode 13 of today's live stream. Wow, 13 weeks of doing this. It's gone by quite quickly. And also today I thought what we could do is we could have a look at any of your queries or ideas with regards to online teaching, education, Preply, if you're using Preply, or any other sort of English teaching platform, Cambly, iTalki, or what have you. Anyhow, let's just bring the volume of my microphone up because I can see it's just clipping just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so today, any questions, please let me know where you're from, what you're up to, what you're doing, and let me know if you can watch this live stream, if it's going okay. I can see that there's a bit of a buffering issue at the moment, but let's see what we have. But it seems healthy enough. Anyway, today let's get started. So it's already the 10th of January. Bear with me. And actually, I've received quite a lot of interest recently for IELTS preparation. I've received quite a lot of interest from potential students recently for IELTS preparation. It's a new year. Everyone's keen to achieve their aims and goals, New Year resolutions. What are your New Year resolutions? Let me know in the comments. But many students have decided to pursue their English studies again. New Year resolution, pass that new exam. So I've received quite a lot of interest from potential students either looking to do their IELTS in a month or 2 months, 3 months. Some students are willing to prepare for their IELTS in 6 months, and some students are planning to do the IELTS in 6 months to 9 months time. So there's been quite a lot of interest with regards to IELTS and IELTS preparation. So I've been rather busy over the past week or so with teaching students and welcoming new students, and it's been pretty good so far. So far, so good. Obviously, I uploaded a new video about IELTS preparation, IELTS writing for potential students, and that's I uploaded that video to YouTube a couple of days ago. I've got another update with regards to that where I'll be answering certain questions and writing depending on part 1 of the IELTS writing task, and that will be another area where I'll be pushing through. I've also got another video which I've finished now, but this afternoon I'm going to be uploading that to YouTube and sharing that either today, this evening, or tomorrow possibly. But otherwise than that, it's been a rather busy year so far. Anyhow, let's see. So, how about yourselves? Have you had quite a bit of a uptake with regards to students, new students booking for the new year? How's it been for you? Now, another thing that I thought I'd have a look at is the usual news with regards to English teaching and that sort of thing. So it'd be quite nice to have a look to see what things are happening at the moment in terms of English language teaching in the UK. And how things have evolved and developed with regards to the pandemic. I remember last week in my live stream, my expectation or my plan or prediction, I suppose, was that things will return back to normal towards the end of the summer, maybe towards autumn, with things starting to improve overall towards the beginning of next year, where everything returns back to normal and people are living with this awful disease. Right. We have here our first person. Let's have a look. We have Viktor here. Here he is, and he says hello. Okay, well, welcome, Viktor. Thank you ever so much. Any questions today, please let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. And I hope you can hear me all right, and I hope it's not too loud or not too soft. Anyway, so yes, last week I was planning, or I predicted that things would return back to normal by the end of this year, next year, with courses being run face-to-face, and I would expect that there'll be a transition period where there will be some confidence resuming into international travel. I can see, with friends and family that they're starting to travel internationally again, around Europe, etc. And I think with this renewed confidence and with the vaccine that's been rolling out, that people will return to their normal lives, and students will return back to teaching and learning and studying, and face-to-face courses will return. I certainly hope so anyway. Anyhow, let's have a quick look. Okay, another question by Viktor here. Let me bring up his question. So here, how's the introduction video for Preply going? It's going well. I suppose the introduction video is still in its early days in terms of the video, but I'm hoping to update my personal introduction video in the next week or so. I'm just holding out for some good weather in the UK to get some outdoor shots for this video that I've recorded, and I've got all the audio, all the video footage edited. I just need to try and find some suitable video to shoot outdoors to get what we call like B-roll, the supplementary visual to accompany a certain parts of this video that I'm working on with regards to Preply introduction videos that teachers could use for their own benefit. And it's getting there. It's slowly but surely, and I certainly do hope that I can get it all sorted out by this few weeks, I suppose. Okay, so Viktor, you done your profile video last week. Yes, that was another thing that we looked at last week, wasn't it? The variety of different introduction videos on Preply. Let me see if I can find your video. Let's have a look on Google Chrome, so bear with me. No, let's see. Oh yes, I need to go here. One moment. We'll get there in the end. Now, one issue that I've been having over the past few days, so bear with me. Now, let's see, find tutors. I'm going to try and find your Preply video. and let me see if I can share website. Bear with me because I need to go to capture. Let's see, Chrome. Okay, here we go. So let's go for, is it, oh, it's on your YouTube. Okay, right. Let me see. Can you share a link at all, Victor, for the video? Then I'll be able to have a look at it online, and I'll be quite happy to. Otherwise, I could go to YouTube and let's see, search for Victor HB Gomes. Oh, right, I've got it here. Getting there. I guess this would be your introduction video. So let's have a quick look. Let me get the subtitles on. Nice visuals. Okay, to begin with, my initial idea with regards to this video, it's quite nice. I'm not sure, maybe, okay, so you've got your bunk bed behind you. I don't mind, but you know, maybe you could choose a different location. Lighting's very good. You appear to be quite professional. You got your microphone, with same as me, so that's great. And I do like the animation that you included at the beginning. So here you got Victor Portuguese language, Brazilian native tutor, which is great. So that's good. The overall length of the video is about 1 minute and 20 seconds, I guess. So let's see how it goes. Right. History teacher, degree student at Sao Paulo State University, and I've been teaching Portuguese for foreign since May 2020. It's been a great. Oh, my culture and my language with them. Okay, good. I like this. I like the fact that you've included something other than just yourself talking. So my current Preply introduction video is just that, I suppose, you know, it's just me talking with a few images around me, but I've not done, and this is one thing that I'm going to be working on my Preply introduction video, I've not done anything where I've overlaid it with any images or that sort of thing, but I do like the fact that you share what you do and how you present that sort of information. Now, nice activities that you prepare, you share what you do. It's great and nice to see that you're presenting this, and I think it's a very good introduction video, if I may say so, Victor. So yeah, well done. It's great to see. So thank you for sharing, and that's great. I'm glad I managed to find it. Okay, so we have Second here, and Second says, what's the difference between New Zealand English and BBC English, the pronunciation? Okay, right. In terms of New Zealand English, I am not very aware of the differences between New Zealand and British English. I suppose BBC English, you mean British, or you know, that expected English that people, what's it called, RP, received pronunciation. In terms of New Zealand English, I assume it's going to be very similar to Australian English, where they've got a bit of a twang in their speaking. With most differences between Englishes, the biggest difference is going to be on the vowel sounds of English. You know, you look at American English and they roll their R a little bit more than British English. They have certain vowel sounds as well. With New Zealand English or Australian English, I would expect something very similar, where The vowel sounds are slightly different or pronounced slightly differently. I'm not entirely sure of the key differences, but my experience or my thought would be vowel sounds. That's where the differences will be in terms of New Zealand, Australian English, I guess. So I hope that helps. Right, any other questions? Let's have a look, because this was quite a fun activity with regards to finding a particular tutor. Now, for me, I'm quite curious about learning Korean, of course, and let's see if I can share my site. Okay, so here I'm looking at Korean. This student, or not student, rather this tutor, looks like they have one review, 5 stars, $30 an hour. It's quite expensive. Anyway, let's have a look at our video. I found this. Okay, let's click on here, open up website. Okay, so it's got Korean automatically. Let's translate it to off. I won't be able to hear it, so let me see. Initial idea is that it's going to be good video, and you've got the map on the wall. You've got the wardrobes behind her. So let's see. Okay, so my initial thoughts is the camera's shaking, so it's not great. It could be fixed, a bit like what Viktor done with regards to his video. Camera was fixed, maybe used his own camera or webcam, which is great, but this video is shaky, and it's not great. Let's see what else she has. It's like she hasn't really put much effort into it, but it's okay. It could be better, a bit more focus in terms of that. Then Chan Yang Xin, newly joined. Okay, a new teacher. Let's see. Oh, Vimeo. Okay. Right. Prefer the camera to be higher up, I suppose, rather than looking down toward, like myself. I suppose that would be more suitable, so it's at eye level, I guess. That would be better. And it's about a minute, and yeah, it's just a normal, typical video, nothing special. Okay, Sally, Annie. Okay, she's using a microphone, which is interesting. This one's more interesting. Visually, you got more on terms of what's going on in the background. Let's have a look at this then. So for me, to enhance your introduction video is don't just have a blank wall behind you or your clothes behind you, or try and make it so that it looks more visually appealing. So if I go back to our main source here, you can see I've got my books, I've got my piano, I've got my map, I've got my sofa and various other things around me, so it looks like this is my office, and this is a lot more interesting. But if you have just a white wall behind you, it's a bit boring, isn't it, when it comes down to certain introduction videos where it's just the wall. I want to be engaged in terms of that. So let's have a quick look at this. So it looks very good so far. Nice background. Well recorded within lines of that. Yeah, it's not bad at all. and it's 30 seconds, so it's quite short, quite sweet. So that's great to see. And I'm not sure. Maybe I think this would be a great video in the future. Maybe I should do a lesson on different languages and record the lesson and upload it and share how I got on with different languages. That would be really interesting to share with everybody else, and that would be great. Now let's have a look, go through the chat as well. There's quite a few things going on. I'm a Portuguese tutor if you want to check on Preply. Okay. New Zealand pronunciation sounds so wired or weird. I think sometimes it feels like they are exhausting their mouth on purpose. Oh, okay, maybe. I don't know. Miriam's here. Miriam, I'm considering doing an online IELTS teaching course. I had two choices, Bridge or Cambridge, both for 20 hours, but there is a price difference. Any suggestions on what to pursue? Okay, online IELTS teaching course. I don't know about this. Let's have a look at this. So we've got Bridge, online IELTS teaching course. Okay, I think I've found it. So I've just Googled. Let me just share this. Okay, so 20-hour certificate in teaching IELTS exam preparation. To be honest, why pay for something that you can find out by yourself? The course today, because it's not really going to be recognized by various employees or employers rather. It's just developing your awareness of the IELTS exam. And okay, so 100% online, flexible schedule, interactive content, job resources, and then you get the various things. So certificate of completion, digital badge, personal tutor, extended course access. It's going to be £21 to do this course, but why would you pay something which you can find out for yourself? That would be my initial thought. Yes, it's a course. I would go for the free option, so you get a bit of an idea about the IELTS. You don't need the certificate because you're not really going to be sharing that certificate. It's not going to be recognized by employers. When you could say, okay, I've done this course, and you could get a screenshot of the course or a screenshot of something to demonstrate that you've completed the course. But again, I wouldn't pay for something like this. What I would recommend is to try and find information online about the IELTS exam, and to try and find a bit more information and to start learning about the IELTS and the different aspects of the IELTS exam, academic IELTS that is. Okay, what our students are saying, intuitively designed, great instructors, program fulfills my certificate. Okay, so it's 20 hours, you got quiz, discussion boards, graded assignment, instructional video, handouts. To be honest, do the free course, because all the access, all the information is available elsewhere. You're just going to be paying for that certificate of completion, which is not worth the £20, if I'm being completely honest. Now, the other one that you mentioned, so let me have a look, Miriam, was Cambridge online IELTS teaching course. So let me have a quick look online. So Cambridge online IELTS course. Let's see, teaching course. I would always go for Cambridge. You know why? Because they're the best in terms of preparation, and they're recognised around the world. Cambridge University, that's exactly what you're going to look at. So here we have the 20-hour online teacher development course, How to Teach IELTS. It is expensive. That's that's going to be the matter of it. You could do an online TEFL course with, like Bridge, example, which is recognised by them, but is it recognised internationally? No, it's not. You could do a course, English language teaching course with Cambridge, an online CELTA, and it's going to be expensive, but it is well worth the money doing that course. Yeah. I've done both. I've done a sort of TEFL, weekend TEFL course that was done within a couple of weeks. I never refer to that certificate again. Then I've done a CELTA, and the CELTA's recognised in the UK, it's recognised in Australia, America, and Canada, and various other countries. It's recognised by the British Council, it's recognised by International House. So I would always urge people to do the CELTA. Yes, it's going to be expensive, but you pay for what you get. You pay for that course. It's completely, it's recognised internationally, it's recognised by institutes, it's recognised by higher educational institutes. It leads a path on to other courses as well. So always a Cambridge course is well worth it. In terms of this 20-hour online teach and development course, how to teach IELTS, I would, if you're keen, go for it. I would recommend it. It's 20 hours. It's a development course. It's recognised. It will be recognised by institutes and schools. And you say, well, I've got a Cambridge certificate here of how to teach IELTS. Here it is. For me, I've never taken a course on how to teach IELTS. Might be worth doing, but I've never done it because I've learnt about the IELTS examiner. I've been an examiner for Cambridge in the past. This is where Cambridge would offer you possible development. So once you've done this course, you could become an IELTS examiner, mark in papers, mark in writing, maybe becoming a speaking examiner. That would be well worth the opportunity. However, if you do the course with Bridge, there's not really going to be any opportunity to develop into an IELTS examiner, I suppose. So that's all I would say in terms of that. Okay. Right, let's have a look at the chat to see how else we're getting on. So I hope that helps, Miriam. Okay, Victor. So Victor says, I have a student from the UK that lives in New Zealand. She said it's quite different and tried to show me, but as I'm not a native, I couldn't notice the difference. Yeah. He says about the bed in the background of my video. Unfortunately, it was better that I could do in my parents' apartment. That's no problem. That's okay. It's just a small thing that I picked up. But I think your video is very, very good. I think it was really, really good. And then Miriam says, thank you so much, Martin. You helped me make the decision. That is the professional advice I was looking for from an experienced teacher like you. No problem at all. In terms of professional development, always go for the better of the choices. Cheaper doesn't mean better. You pay for what you get. It's like if you're going to buy I don't know, a jacket, for example. If you pay £150 for a nice jacket, then it's going to last for a long time. But if you spend £20 on a jacket, it's going to fall apart after a couple of months, and then you're going to spend more money again on buying another jacket, and then that'll fall apart. So you pay for what you get, and it's just the way it is, unfortunately. And there are resources available in terms of free courses. You could do the free Bridge IELTS exam course if you wanted. Do it free. There's no point in doing or getting all that extra certificates for 20 quid. No point at all. You can go on to Future Learn, for example. Future Learn's a great site. You can go and search online here and search for IELTS, for example. You've got British Council course on understanding IELTS and the different elements, and this will actually help you. So, for example, IELTS here, let's go and have a look. 12 weeks introductory course. Let's find out more. Hopefully it's free. If we go down, I think most of the courses here are free. You can join a 7-day trial, keep learning for 36 quid a month. A lot of these courses are free online. Let's have a look at the course overview. Yeah, let's go to Understand IELTS Reading. Yeah, it's paid, unfortunately, but let's see if I can find a course, maybe Teaching IELTS, I guess. Understand it, Teach English. Let's see, Teaching English Online. I think this one's free, 100% online. A lot of the courses that I've looked at, I've done this course. I think it was free to join. You could join, but then I think you have to pay for. So basic access is free. You're limited to 6 weeks on the course. You can discuss your learning in the comments, but then if you end up paying, you're upgrading the course, then you get access for everything else. And Future Learn is a good website in terms of finding accredited modules and accredited subjects. It's recognized by universities, and it can help you in terms of finding subjects and contributing towards degrees and that sort of thing. So let me just share the link. So Future Learn's a great website to consider. Right, now, where are we? Well, we're always almost halfway there. So moving on, let's have a think about well, actually, I was talking about finding a possible tutor for a variety of different languages, and it would be really interesting to do a video of me learning Russian, for example, and I've never studied Russian. I'll be an absolute beginner, but it would be nice to participate in a trial class for a language and seeing how I get on after an hour with the tutor and having to think about what I learned and that sort of thing, and also all the other different languages as well. That would be really interesting. So let me know in the comments whether that would be a possible video that you might be interested in. I guess so. I could go through the route of finding a tutor through Preply, or I could find a tutor elsewhere and seeing if they can give me a lesson for free, I suppose, a 1 hour lesson for free. That would be really, really interesting. But anyway, we'll have to see about that. Now, in terms of my courses and what I've been doing recently, the past week actually, so last week was not so busy. I guess if I go to my dashboard and have a look at my calendar, last week was rather quiet. Well, I say quiet, but it was actually busy considering it was a new year. Christmas, I kind of booked everything off and I just had a few lessons here or there. But, since the new year, everything's been chock-a-block, really. So if I just share this, this week so far, you can see, last week so far, you can see a variety of students have been booking. I started having quite a few students having trial lessons, so there's been a bit of an uptake with regards to trial lessons. This week, you can see, wow, I'm starting to get booked up fully with regards to lessons, and it's kind of chock-block now, really busy. 3 trials in a day, which is great. So there's definitely been a sort of uptake in terms of how things are developing. But like I said earlier today, that would be people seem to have decided, right, I'm going to study English, or I'm going to study the IELTS. I have so many students now studying for IELTS that it's hard to keep up, to be honest, but that's nature of the business. I end up writing so much in my little book about different students, and it's just so hard. But I'm not complaining. It's okay. It's good to be busy, I suppose. But in terms of my tips for trying to find students, I guess my first tip would be set a rate which is appealing to particular students. Now, for me, my usual rate is $30 an hour. This is one thing about Preply. I really wish they could accommodate currencies, your home currency, not just US dollars. Because for me, I'm trying to think, okay, my dollar rate is this amount, and this is how much on average I would earn per hour. Anyway, my usual rate is $30 per hour, but I reduced it for the new year to $20, and then boom, loads of students started booking classes. So my advice would be to focus on lowering your rate for the first few weeks in January, and then push it back up to the original rate of $30, so that you get quite a few students going in. Boom, I want to study a language, and wow, this is a great rate. And then next week I'm going to push my rate up to $30, the normal rate that I charge. If I get lots of bookings, then I'm going to start pushing my rate up to $50 an hour, because that, I want to make sure that not so many students book. But if one does at $50, hey, that's a bonus for me. Anyway, we got Ali here, Ali. So let's have a look. Yes, an over the shoulder from you would be interesting. I guess, learning a new language. That'd be really interesting for me. So I'll have to find possible tutors for different languages, see how I get on. That would be really interesting. And Ali says, can you talk about your equipment setup? Last year, about a year ago, I did do a video of my equipment, my setup. Now bear with me one moment. Right, in terms of my setup, I have my camera. I used to use this camera as a webcam, but now I don't. I've got a dedicated webcam, and so if I bring that over, I'm not sure if you can see that, I've got a webcam there working. So I've got a Logitech 4K webcam. What I did find when I was using my Sony camera as a webcam was that it would overheat and just switch off, because it's got a sort of safety function on the camera. So I was, I could teach for 2 hours, but then after, within the third hour, boom, it would close down. So I had to get a new webcam, so that would avoid. Next thing I've got here, microphone. And I use the microphone because the audio is so much better than using a mic from the webcam, which is quite far away. And I use this webcam, excuse me. I use this microphone for all my lessons and for my video. So if I'm doing a Talking Heads video, then I use the microphone and the camera to make videos. And the good thing about this microphone is I can detach it, I can plug it into my computer, and I can take the microphone and my laptop away and record in another room if I wanted to do so. Another thing that I would recommend anyone to have are headphones. I've got a cheap pair of Sony Bluetooth headphones, and these ones, there's no wire, so it's not connected to the laptop, so there's a bit of movement and flexibility there. I've got a trackpad for my computer, and as you can see, it's an Apple trackpad, and I have a keyboard. So this is my keyboard, the Logitech MX keys for Mac, and so I've got a MacBook Pro running, and this is where I am at the moment. On top of the MacBook that I've got here, I've got a secondary screen right in front of me. I'm not sure if I can show it if I turn my camera on, and maybe I'm not sure if you can see. Okay, so you've got the microphone, and just below I've got my main monitor, and a little bit further, I'm not sure if that's in touch. No, it's a bit difficult to tell, but I've got the MacBook there, the main monitor here, keyboard, trackpad. But maybe I should do a video on my setup for 2022 for online teaching. Great idea. I'm going to write that down. But yeah, thank you, Ali, for your question about my setup. Online teaching setup for 2022. Definitely, if you are to invest in something, definitely invest in, number one, professional development. Number two, your online teaching setup, because you can use a laptop, a MacBook, or a Mac Mini. Mac Mini is a lot cheaper than a MacBook, and it has the same flexibility and functions. But definitely invest in your own equipment. Webcam, microphone, this is essential. These are the two things that I would recommend. Once you've got your microphone and your webcam, then get a monitor, a secondary monitor. That would be well worth investing in. And and then external Bluetooth keyboard and mouse. Anyway, there we are. Right, where were we? So let's return back to our main side. So any other questions, please feel free to post them in the chat. I'll be happy to discuss those. Right, okay. Let's have a look at news. Let's see what's happening online. So not much here. Well, a lot of students have returned back to college and university, so it's quite interesting to see. One thing that we did look at last week educationally was the development for English, Japanese languages because of the rise in popularity with Japanese anime and music and K-pop and that sort of thing. But yeah. One thing that I wanted to look at, and I've got it here, over the pandemic, so last year, let's have a look at the website. Here we go, so Guardian website. People were starting to look at online learning apps, so language learning apps. But there was a great article here about how much can they teach you in terms of languages. I found this article really interesting. So here, Duolingo, I started studying Japanese on Duolingo, and I kind of just gave up because I wasn't really that interested. But maybe a new video on learning different languages might be interesting, seeing what sort of apps are available online. Right. Okay, we've got a chat here. We've got someone that's popped up on the chat. Okay, Eric, it's great to have you here. Looks like you're really getting in good at live streaming. Well, practice, I suppose. Likewise, you're the master, so very inspirational for you. Okay, got another question here. Siberian Marvel. I'm assuming you like Marvel movies, maybe, and you're from Siberia. I'm not sure, but a great name anyway. Okay, my favourite online warm-up activity for adults. Well, if it was face-to-face, my main warm-up activity, once you've taken the register, once you've checked everyone in, and once you've finished asking the normal questions, was how was your weekend? Do you have any plans for this coming weekend? How was last night? What are you doing tonight? Sort of thing, would be to have a think about the topic or the theme that I'm going to be teaching. So if I'm going to be teaching the present simple, like habits and routines, I would create a questionnaire, a survey, and I think Siberian Marvel has put there, yes, both. Okay, so you like Marvel and you're from Siberia, but what's your name? It'd be nice to know what your name is. Anyway, so in terms of warm-up activities for adults, you've done the register, you've asked the usual questions before you start the lesson. Present simple, routines, habits, that sort of thing. So I would create a survey. So the survey, let's have a look. Let's create a quick survey, and if it's online, I would create it on Google Docs, Google Documents, and let me just so here, and it doesn't take that long. It's very quick and simple. So student survey, questions, and then I would create a table. So insert a table. We've got, let's say, 5 students and 5 questions, and so we got questions. Sorry, let's say 4 students: student A, student B, student C, and you can replace it with names. Student names, and here down below here we get the questions. What time do you wake up? And then you get the answers from different students, and they ask each other and that sort of thing. Where do you where do you come from? What do you normally do at the weekend? And last question, how often do you study English? Okay, so you get the idea. You have present simple questions, and then you say to students, okay, I want you to ask 4 other students and put their name at the top and write down their answers, and I'm going to put you into breakout rooms, and then you have 20 minutes. Now, this would be a really good activity, like a warm-up activity in preparation to introducing the present simple, and it raises that awareness. So this is a nice warm-up activity, Andre. So I hope that is one of my favorite warm-up activities, online warm-up activities, particularly when you have groups of students in Zoom. But when it's one-to-one, it's a little bit more difficult. Warm-up you could organize, such as asking the student directly, but then you're just going to get one answer because you have the one student, and you ask the student, what time do you wake up, or how long have you studied English? Well, that's past. How often do you study English? What do you normally do at the weekend? Where do you come from? So you ask these questions, and then you introduce the present simple, and then you can do sort of consolidate the grammar awareness with a sort of activity. You get a list of verbs in a box, and the students have to put the correct verbs in the correct gap, and that sort of thing. So there's certain things that are possible in terms of that. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah, thank you. And your name is Andre. So I hope that's useful, Andre. But great question. Keep them coming. It's really good. And it's nice to see so many of you here, and hope this live stream's useful so far. Right, now, any other questions? Because we have 9 minutes remaining, and I have a book that I'm going to be looking at, Poems of the Decade, so it would be great to answer maybe one or two more questions before I decide to read my poem. Let me keep them coming. I'm going to just have a quick orange juice. All right. Now, yes, before we went, I was sharing this website here about the popularity of language learning apps, and the rise in how many students or how many sign-ups Duolingo was having. And it talks about the feeling of learning Portuguese. So we had Viktor here, who teaches Portuguese. And yeah, it would be maybe, maybe connect with this article. So let me put the name of this article, the link rather, here in the chat. So have a look at this article. It's really interesting. So it talks about this, so quite a nice quote here. The really big challenge of language learning is actually for our minds to bring all these elements together creatively and make decisions. How do I pronounce this? What kind of words do I choose? And how do I put this together in a grammatically correct sentence, or in larger chunks that produce conversation? Yeah. So really, really interesting. There's a sort of a favourite phrase in Portuguese, a gente, I guess, a gente. It just sounds good. A gente, I guess, or a gente. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But the more you learn, the more diverse your language learning should be. You might take classes, watch videos, and read Twitter on the other language while keeping the app as a useful tool on the side. Interesting idea. So, yes, you can maybe spend 15 minutes a day studying a language, but then start to diverse your exposure to the language by watching videos, taking classes, looking at Twitter and how Twitter, how people use that language on Twitter or other social media sites. Anyway, just as social media apps provide a vehicle for connection but not connection itself, the magic of language learning happens in the world, not on the screen. It's a kind of magic. While I was in Brazil, I met a guy who told me on dates where they were listening, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, really interesting article, and I certainly hope it kind of resonates with some other people here. But let's return back to our main screen, and here we are. Right, any final questions before we finish off? Because I'm going to choose a poem at random in this book. Best Poems of the Decade. And I'm gonna, but it'd be nice to see if anyone else has any final questions before we finish off. So, right, here we go. In the meantime, let me have a look if there's any final questions. If not, I'm going to finish off with my poem. I've just seen one where it's a bit more, well, cursive. Not so good. I don't like cursive language. Anyway. Okay, right. Maybe something that can resonate with you. The author of this poem is Patrick McGuinness. Okay, before I start, there were just a few questions. Let me just bring up the chat because final few. What correction techniques do you use for accuracy activities? Okay, in terms of this, because of the time that we've got left remaining, error correction can be both hot and cold. Hot meaning like immediate, and cold correction could be, after an activity. Now, for me, I tend to do cold error correction when the student is chatting. I don't want to disrupt that flow of conversation or disrupt the interactiveness of the conversation, and I don't want to be stopping the student all the time. So I tend to make a note in my notebook of what the student's saying. I would listen and write down whilst listening what the student said, particularly about any errors that they've included in their speaking, or errors of vocabulary, chosen vocabulary, collocations, that sort of thing. And then what I would do is I would share it on Google Docs, for example, and then ask the student to correct themselves. If they can't correct themselves, then I would suggest alternative phrases or an alternative sentence, and that's how I would correct the student. Now, in terms of immediate error correction, this is when the student has some issues with their pronunciation, and I would just go, can you say that again? Sorry, I didn't catch that, or that sort of thing, and ask them to spell the word, and then I would correct them immediately with that. Okay, really enjoy how you share interesting articles. I'll try and apply that to my lives if possible. You're welcome. It was just something to keep me busy, but or something to keep everyone occupied. But if I don't share the articles, then not many questions. I guess that's how I feel. But in the meantime, thank you ever so much, Eric, for your support. It's really interesting. And I hope you're having a lovely holiday in South Africa. I would love to visit South Africa in the future, definitely. Anyway, I've got a poem that I've chosen from this book, Poems of the Decade, and there's a poem here by Patrick McGuinness, and I hope you enjoy the poem. Let me know in the comments how it resonated with you and how you felt with regards to it. Patrick McGuinness, the name of this poem is A History of Doing Nothing. So I'm thinking procrastination, that sort of thing. Okay, let's start. Before I begin, quick juice. Okay. A History of Doing Nothing. And who would write it? Its first historians were bemused. It moved, yes, but imperceptibly, used time as action did, took place along, the hours, the days, needing somewhere to unfold. Like all the things it wasn't. The instruments designed to trap it could not keep up. The mind slid off it like water on an oily cloth. In photographs, it was the shadow that seemed to leak from motion, so that each moving thing looked always in the company of its ghost, its own grey opposite. In wars, it was inferred from the slack rigging of the warships, the flotillas nuzzling at their moorings. Heraclitus knew, into the same nothing, nobody stepped twice. Physics was born when they found that all things bring a corresponding nothing into being. Metaphysics, when they learned that in a perfect world, each thing done aspired to the same thing left undone. Its founding epic still used heroes, battles, temples, only for the space that lay between them. Events? No, the gaps that separate events. The hungerless white dreams between awakenings. Slow afternoons that ran aground on boredom. Its sacred books, pristine from inattention, promised a paradise where all the squandered energy, dissipated talents, missed appointments, with destiny or with friends would fuse in one infinity of cancellation, where not to have been born was only second best. What of the doors of nothing? To the naked eye, they seem no different from ourselves. Surveyed, the low comedy that was activity from beds or armchairs, suspended in their dusky lives, as the world turns into the emptiness that holds it steady. Like us, they folded back into time's pleats before going traceless where the dead go, soft-footed in the unresisting dark. Yeah, it's quite a dark poem. Never really thought it would be like that, but I chose one at random. A history of doing nothing, I suppose. Yeah, historically. But anyway, for me, there was a lot of imagery related to war and I don't know, the navy and the flotillas and that sort of thing. And then I felt the dark seeping process towards death, and the art of doing nothing is in death, I guess, but quite morbid and quite dark. That's how I found it. But I hope it resonated or had some impact on you, and maybe it was different for you, but that's how I felt initially. Anyway, I'm going to be finishing off my live stream now. It's been over an hour, but thank you ever so much for everybody coming on and posting their questions. Thanks for all the sort of comments and support. Again, I'll be here next week, same time, 1 p.m. UK time. Have a lovely week, everyone. Take care. See you soon. And bye-bye. Hey.